Traffic now at 7:14. If you're heading out the door, I want to give you a live look at Mississippi's only traffic helicopter in the sky. EJ Rivers tracking our Tuesday morning commute. Hey, EJ.
Good morning, guys. We are looking southbound on 55, coming up off of Fortification, looking towards Pearl. Actually, the stack looks pretty good right now. It's going to get crowded, though, so if you want to, leave now. That would be good. If you see anything, let us know at SkyCopterMS on Twitter, and you can check m.traffic.com for your live construction zones today. This traffic alert is sponsored by your local Geico agent, 1060 East County Line Road. Call them at 601-503-1455 to see how much you can save. That's your latest look from Skycopter. I'm EJ Rivers.
Thanks, EJ. Former President George H.W. Bush is still in a hospital in Texas. He was admitted on Sunday after contracting an infection that spread to his blood. It happened not long after his wife's funeral. Services for Mrs. Bush were held on Saturday. A family spokesman says the former president, who is 93 years old, is responding to treatment and appears to be recovering. Barbara Bush's gravesite is now open to the public. It's right behind the George Bush Presidential Library in College Station. Mrs. Bush was buried in a private ceremony on Saturday. Wreaths with pink roses and strands of her signature pearls rest on either side of the gate leading to the site. Hundreds of people visited the museum on Monday, taking pictures and remembering the former First Lady's legacy.
She was who she was. She didn't put a front on, and the biggest part is she was kind.
Her gravesite is open every day.
In Washington, Vice President Mike Pence swears in the new NASA boss. He swore in Jim Bridenstine as the new NASA administrator at the agency's D.C. headquarters. Bridenstine was confirmed by the Senate last week. He currently serves in the Oklahoma House of Representatives, holding positions on the House Armed Service Committee and the Science, Space, and Technology Committee. He was also a pilot for the U.S. Navy and Navy Reserve and the former executive director of the Tulsa Air and Space Museum and Planetarium. He'll be the agency's 13th administrator. The president's pick for Secretary of State Mike Pompeo makes it through a tough vote in the Senate. The Foreign Relations Committee voted 11-9 to give him a favorable recommendation. Senator Rand Paul originally opposed Pompeo's appointment, but later agreed to vote yes, and Chris Coons agreed to change his no vote to yes, so Johnny Isakson wouldn't have to come from a friend's funeral to break the tie, saying Isakson would have voted for Pompeo anyway. The current CIA director still needs to be confirmed by the entire Senate. President Trump keeping up his threat to bar immigrants from Central America entering the U.S.
Adam Housley tracks the migrants' path and looks at whether the president's push for stricter border enforcement is working.
Stowing away on trains, the first Central American migrants, part of an annual caravan, have reached the U.S. border with Tijuana. While more are expected, agents say some have already asked for asylum, citing violence in their home countries.
As long as I'm given an opportunity to reach Tijuana, if time allows, I will try to reach the United States.
They deserve to have the right to asylum, and we as a country should be meeting them with open arms instead of with the National Guard and with more guns at the border.
While the caravan of more than 1,000 mostly disbanded as it moved across Mexico, those who are left and those supporting them continue to draw the ire of President Trump, who tweeted, "Despite the Democrat-inspired laws on sanctuary cities and the border being so bad and one-sided, I've instructed the Secretary of Homeland Security not to let these large caravans of people into our country. It is a disgrace. We're the only country in the world so naive." Wall. DHS says people with asylum or similar claims should seek protections in the first safe country they enter, including Mexico. If they do seek asylum in the U.S., they may be detained while their claims are adjudicated. And if members of the caravan enter the country illegally, they will be prosecuted. The president also threatened to end negotiations on NAFTA over the migrant caravan, tweeting, "Mexico, whose laws on immigration are very tough, must stop people from going through Mexico and into the U.S. We may make this a condition of the new NAFTA agreement. Our country cannot accept what is happening. Also, we must get wall funding fast."
The administration is dealing with this much differently than the Obama administration did. And first, they're sending the signal that you're just not going to be able to get away with showing up and making an asylum claim and being allowed into the country for an indefinite period. And secondly, that we expect more effort on the part of Mexico to address this problem.
The full caravan's arrival, expected later this week, coincides with the deployment of 4,000 National Guard troops. In Los Angeles, Adam Housley, Fox News.
Coming up next, small kids head to the California state capitol. We'll tell you why they are there when the Fox 40 Morning News continues.